Hello and thanks for joining us on Nationwide today. I'm Elizabeth Omori. We're reaching you live from Abuja. President Muhammadu Buhari has noted with deep concern reported attacks on Nigerian citizens and property in South Africa since August 29, 2019. President Buhari has also dispatched a special envoy to convey to President Cyril Ramaphosa his concerns and also interact with his South African counterpart on the situation. The special envoy is expected to arrive in Pretoria latest Thursday, 5th of September 2019. Similarly, the federal government says it is pushing to ensure that Nigerian citizens whose shops were looted in South Africa are compensated and those responsible are held accountable for their actions. This was at a meeting between Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs and the South African High Commissioner to Nigeria. Usman Aliu has details.
The recent looting of shops and burning of property belonging to Nigerians in South Africa sent shockwaves among Nigerians. Many people wonder why such misunderstanding keeps recurring in the nations regarded as economic powers in Africa. At a meeting, leaders representing the two nations agree it is no longer a matter of silence. Nigeria's Foreign Affairs Minister Geoffrey Onyeama and the South Africa Head of Mission in Nigeria, Bobby Moro, say they are worried by the criminal behavior exhibited by some South Africans against some Nigerians. Particularly, Nigeria's Minister Geoffrey Onyeama said there must be accountability and responsibility whenever such crimes are committed.
And essentially being prepared to preempt such attacks as we're witnessing today, and taking other measures including compensation and so forth, but essentially having the two working as a team.
Apart from the measures the two countries put in place, they assured Nigerians that justice must be done.
It is therefore quite very unfortunate that we find ourselves in a situation that we found ourselves in now. The government has issued a statement yesterday condemning the acts of violence and acts of criminality. For us, these are acts that continue to demonstrate that there are criminals within society that seek to destabilize the country. There are criminals who seek to create an impression that South Africans do not subscribe to the principle of Ubuntu.
It is expected that the measures will spur authorities in South Africa to address what people see as horrendous violence against Nigerians in that country once and for all. In Abuja, Usman Aliu, NT News.
Meanwhile, the All Progressives Congress has strongly condemned the recent South African xenophobic attacks on foreign nationals, particularly on Nigerians, their property and businesses. In a statement by the party's National Publicity Secretary, Larry Issa Onilu, the APC is deeply saddened by the unwarranted attacks. The party says attack on citizens of other countries points to a failure of leadership and calls on the South African ruling party, the African National Congress, to urgently step in as the ANC government can no longer pretend about this obvious contradiction. Now to conflict resolution. Women conflict mediators from some African countries are seeking ways of developing a culture of dialogue among the diverse ethnic and religious groups in the continent. Mohammed Umar Ajinge reports that the women visited Governor Nasiru Hamad El-Rufai, who promised to collaborate with them for sustainable peace in Kaduna State.
Many African countries have suffered untold hardship due to conflict. The peace mediators from Kenya, Mali, Sudan, and other African countries gathered under the aegis of Farmer Headers Initiative for Peace and Dialogue to proffer a common solution that will resolve the difference among different ethnic groups and religious communities. The need for justice and inclusion of more women in decision-making roles to prevent violent conflict as mothers are some of the issues brought to the fore that will help in peace building.
My message to you and from Kenya is going to come as a form of a challenge and a question. What kind of world do you want to see for your children and your children's children?
For Governor Nasru Ahmad El-Rufai, African leaders need to step up their efforts in ensuring justice among different groups.
To find commonalities and build relationships that will lead to preventing and mediating conflict in your countries and in the continent, but also providing moral support to each and one another.
The participants are expected after the meeting to engage women groups in Nigeria on peace dialogue to enhance their capacity for conflict mediation. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umar Ajingi, NTA News.
Now to the UK court ruling. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has restated the federal government's determination to pursue for the reversal of the United Kingdom court's ruling against Nigeria and in favor of Process and Industrial Development Limited. The minister stated this when he visited the corporate headquarters of Leadership Newspapers in Abuja. Anthony Forson reports.
The Information and Culture Minister is now visitor to the corporate headquarters of the Leadership Newspapers, and each time he comes visiting, it is always a moment to show encomium on the organization. At today's visit, Lai Mohammed applauded the newspaper for, in his words, the patriotic position the paper has taken. It is in line with this that the Information and Culture Minister placed on the doorsteps of the nation's media not to be swayed by unpatriotic citizens who have formed a league with foreign collaborators to defraud the country.
The company admits that it has invested $40 million into Nigeria, and you give an award of $9.6 billion. This is unprecedented, that the award is exorbitant, is excessive, manifestly unreasonable. It goes beyond protecting the commercial interests of the company. It's punitive in nature. I mean, and this is why we appeal to the sense of patriotism of our media in particular, to understand what the issues are. That it's not about one administration or the other, it's about Nigeria. If people can just come in, walk into Nigeria with a portfolio and walk away with 20% of our entire foreign reserve. These are the issues at stake.
Running the Leadership Newspapers editorial teams through the issues at stake between the federal government of Nigeria and P&ID Limited, an Irish firm, the minister maintained that the federal government is doing all within its powers to stave off any seizure of its assets.
Even the capacity of the contracting party, you can't give what you don't have. The Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources is not the competent contracting party. It has no gas. The gas belongs to the NPC and the ROCs. And that's why we are glad that the President has asked the EFCC, the NIA, and the Secretary of Police to really look into this matter and find out what really transpired. Who are those collaborators from within and without government that led us to this, sorry pass? We are doing everything possible, and we are very optimistic that it would stave off any embarrassment.
The forum gave the Leadership Newspaper team the opportunity to equally ask questions on other national issues, which the minister provided answers to. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Governor Sanwo-Olu on dividends of democracy for national development, and Hingino John Adams in the Center of Excellence will give us details of this and more reports on Nationwide. Hello, Hingino.
Thank you, Elizabeth, and welcome to Lagos. Motorists and commuters flying the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway have been lamenting loss of man-hours in the gridlock caused by the diversion at the Berger-Kara Bridge section of the highway. Michael Olaleye reports that endless queue of vehicles is a reflection of the reality check that the days ahead could be hectic for travelers.
This is the Kara Bridge section of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, and it is just 600 meters from here to Berger, where the diversion ends. This stretch of road is strategic simply because it has been described as the neck of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Based on the estimation of the Ogun State Command of the Federal Road Safety Corps, more than 10,000 vehicles ply this route daily, in which 60% of them are trucks. Now, adding this figure to that of cars and vehicles of residents around this axis, the traffic situation can better be imagined than experienced.
This is the scenario today as motorists painstakingly navigate into Lagos.
In fact, this road is too much. It's come from Wawa now. I don't know, it's like 2.5 hours now.
The day and night. Man, the traffic is much.
The stretch of the traffic is endless, but it is a pain with eventual gains.
It's something we just have to bear. That's my attitude, sincerely. We just have to bear it for now. There's little we can do about it. It is to get it better. And before something gets better, sometimes it can get like this.
Although traffic management agencies are at hand to ease movement, but the volume of vehicles is overwhelming.
Whether crawling or wriggling, what is important to the motoring public is that this road will be completed in the next 3 months, and their once pathetic experiences will be a thing of the past. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NT News.
Meanwhile, the Lagos State Sector Commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, Hyginus Omeja, says motorists plying the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway need not to conceive any fear of delay in their journey along the route. He was speaking with NTA News on the reconstruction of the road and the way out of congestion.
The sector commander, while allaying the fears of commuters along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, says government had earlier on taken adequate measures to have a free flow of traffic, as personnel from both Lagos and Ogun states have been well deployed in conjunction with other sister traffic agencies.
What is on ground in reducing the stress and the congestion on that route that is going through reconstruction. The Corps has deployed massively personnel to ensure free flow of traffic within that axis. Both the Lagos Sector Command and the Ogun Sector Command synergizing together, deploying personnel there. And we are also working with other sister agencies. For the Lagos end, LASMA is providing support, and for the Ogun end, Trace is also providing support. Since yesterday that diversion was carried out, you have seen a total route lining of our personnel there. And we have also put in place tow trucks at strategic. If there's any broken down vehicle within that stretch, it can be promptly removed.
On indiscipline among motorists, especially the buses and taxis, picking and dropping passengers illegally.
One of the measures we are using to curb them is from inception, the design, the contractors were able to create some laybys where these buses can actually go in and pick their passengers and drop. Notwithstanding, you still have some lawless ones who may want to do otherwise, and that is where we have to wield the big sticks.
He, however, assured motorists to be mindful of other road users to avoid unnecessary delay while traveling along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. In Lagos, Tunde Saiki, NTA News.
Now away from reconstruction of Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, improvements upon the ease of doing business and the creation of opportunities to ensure that residents continue to enjoy the dividends of democracy are the hallmarks of good governance. And this is what the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has promised the residents. The governor made the pledge when a delegation of the Alumni Association of the Third Regular Course of the Nigerian Defense Academy, NDA, led by former President of the Senate, David Mark, paid him a visit at the Lagos House, Ikeja. Nosa Osula reports.
The governor, who reiterated his administration's commitment to alleviating poverty in the state, commended the association for their humanitarian work and assured them of the continuous support of the state government.
We cannot get a better mix of Nigerians than what you have. And so we are happy that God has continued to spare your life, that you can still make out time to do that which is important to mankind. Also believing in the narrative called Nigeria. Because that's what all of us are truly enjoying today.
Former President of the Senate, David Mark, appreciated the governor for his support and the good people of Lagos State for their hospitality, which he promised would not be taken for granted.
The aim of the association is, apart from meeting ourselves once a year, is also to help our widows, to give scholarship to our own sons and daughters, and extend the same scholarship to even people who are less privileged in the society.
The delegation, made up of eminent Nigerians such as past governors, ministers, including former military governor of Lagos State, Brigadier General Raji Rasaki, Brigadier General Tunji Olunrin, and Brigadier General Tunde Ogbea, commended the state government's efforts in the area of infrastructural development. In Lagos, Nusa Osula, NTA News.
27 aspiring environmental journalists have benefited from the first edition of the Environmental Journalism Summer Training in Lagos. The free training, an initiative by award-winning environmental journalist Jennifer Igwe, targeted young people from areas with degradation.
Participants for the environmental journalism training were selected based on their entries. They submitted articles on environmental challenges affecting their neighborhoods, efforts they've made so far to make impact, and why they want to be environmental journalists.
Concept of what we're doing to train more like foot soldiers who will be there in the forefront to tell stories of their communities, bring to the fore underreported issues for change.
33-year-old Ogenekwarobu Evubari is a mass communication graduate from Ogbara Etope West Local Government area of Delta State. His entry was on pollution affecting rivers in his community. Ogenekwarobu applied for the free environmental journalism summer school to better create awareness on the plight of his community and need to preserve the ecosystem.
In Niger Delta, to be precise, there are a lot of environmental hazards. The people are not aware of what they are doing. So we need some environmental journalists who will tell them what they need to know.
Is a graduate of urban and regional planning. He resides in Okota, Lagos. Environmental degradation is aggravating challenges of bad roads in his area. Having concluded his youth service, he applied for the training to earn a living as an environmental journalist to highlight their problems.
Now it also creates a kind of balance for me. Now I have and I know how to present whatever I'm writing to a larger audience and how to make it marketable.
Ogenekwarobu and Oluwaseun and 25 others received hands-on tutoring by award-winning journalists, veteran conservationists, environment activists, and researchers. They are expected to converge in 6 months' time to review impact stories they have covered. In Lagos, Awol Yusuf Jibo, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Lagos. Nationwide continues after this commercial break. Stay with us.
They are there at the crack of dawn. They are there busy preparing while we rise for our day. They are there silently, guarding, waiting, listening, and watching. They are there ready in the sky above and the waters below, in the blistering heat of the day, in the dead of night, willing, indefatigable, determined in the defense of the sovereignty of our country. They are our first line of defense and our last. They who have paid the ultimate price in defending us. They are fathers and uncles. They are mothers and sisters and girlfriends and boyfriends. They are brothers and cousins and best friends and neighbors. They are classmates, colleagues, and citizens of this nation. They are our defenders and deserve our respect, our prayers, our thoughts. Nigeria, please support our armed forces.
4 years of Next Level Agenda in focus on Tuesday Live this week. Governance and workings of economy under close examination. Tuesday Live every week at 10:30 p.m. Incisive, educating, and informative. Join us.
Digital studio equipment is a critical aspect of modern television that requires special skills for their operation and maintenance. These skills define the content and output of television and are acquired only through professional training and experience. NTA TV College JOS is organizing a special 4-week intensive course on digital studio equipment maintenance for engineers and technical officers in public and private television stations. The course will equip participants with modern techniques, technologies, and skills for effective and efficient operation and maintenance of digital studio equipment. Also, a special 4-week course on intermediate photojournalism and photography will run simultaneously. It is an essential course for photojournalists, photographers, public relations and information officers to upscale their skills and capacities in photojournalism. Participants will be equipped with modern skills in photo editing, studio and outdoor lighting, and more in just a few weeks. The venue for both courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA-TV College near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. Date 16 September to 11th October 2019. Course fee 100,000 naira only per participant. Accommodation inclusive. For more inquiries, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA-TV College Jos, training you to be the best you want to be.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Please, did you hear that?
Of course I did. That is village master tune.
So, Auntie Amebo was not gossiping then?
Village master is celebrating 50 years.
50? Already? This is not a joke.
It is a national celebration. NTA and Village Master family are commemorating 50 years.
Hey, please, tell me, when is our golden jubilee?
It is from the 8th to 11th of October, 2019.
I have to go and get ready. It's time to party.
Women. But we, men, will be there too.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. Or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
Thanks for staying with us. Now, it is a fact that the environment play a vital role in influencing individuals' character, but one sure way to guide against its negative impact for individuals to have constant evaluation of their own actions. This was the submission of speakers at a workshop on social behavior and nation building put together by the National Orientation Agency in Abuja. Doindia reports.
The proscription of man as a higher animal depicts his dominance over other living things, just as there are many factors that influence the behavior of individuals. Some of these factors are man's environment, norms, peer influence, amongst others. However, concern is being raised on how the Nigerian society is fast eroding following the negative influence of globalization. Homosexualism, gayism, body modification, sexual immorality, gangsterism, and drug abuse are just few of such behaviors.
The upbringing of everyone depends from the family.
And it affects the society because once they have a larger follower, then they are determining what is happening in the community.
To address this trend, which poses threats to the sanity of the Nigerian society, the National Orientation Agency brought together these key players.
So at the end of the roundtable, they are supposed to set up roundtables in their organizations. And wherever you have influence, it could be in the church, it could be in your home, your family, you can set up a roundtable because the values are universal.
Speakers stressed the need for the reintroduction of family ties by way of constant interaction.
And so in Nigeria, because of our past, we need leaders that can look into the nation and reconcile this entity called Nigeria.
We should stick on correction from the bottom, not always from the top. The change begins with me. Let me do the right thing, and others will see and follow up.
The government in general should also look at the ways that they improve the life being of people. How do they do that? They look for how people will work, the social amenities, infrastructures, all these things should be in place.
And as human continue to go through the various stages of life, their characters and behavior changes. But what is most important is how such individuals have personal evaluation of their personal characters to ensure that they contribute meaningfully to the development of their society and the country at large. In Abuja, Dori, Dia, NT News.
Let's now talk education. The government of Kano State has declared free and compulsory education from primary to junior secondary schools with a planned legislation to make it law. An initiative Vice President Yemi Osinbajo supports. Benny Adams reports that the decision came on the heels of ongoing stakeholders' discussions on free education and integration of Almajiri and Sangaya system of education holding in Kano. Statistic puts 10 northern states as having 8 million out of school children, with Kano receiving 1 million of the total. A narrative Governor Ganduje believes is going to change with the declaration of free and compulsory education from primary to secondary school. For Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, investment in human capital is key to the next level agenda.
Content to impart skills that are relevant to the emerging knowledge economy in the fields of science, technology, engineering, arts and maths, as well as digital literacy, civic education, critical thinking, and entrepreneurial skills.
Governor Ganduje believes a strong legislation coupled with adequate funding will guarantee the success of the scheme, which commences this month.
Government has commenced the direct funding of such schools numbering 1,180, with a total student population of 834,366 at a total cost of about 200 million naira per month.
Ensuring that children...
Deployment of technology in the teaching and learning process, skills acquisition, as well as protection of the rights of children are basic ingredients developing partners think are needed for the successful implementation of the scheme. Scholars and other stakeholders have 2 days to work out an implementation plan. And still on education, 2.8 billion naira has been disbursed to 2,500 selected communities in the 36 states of the Federation as take-off grant for school management committees for basic and junior secondary schools. The grant provided by the Universal Education Commission is part of measures to address falling standard of education at the lower level. Fatima Sanusi Kariye reports that the amount was disbursed at the formal inauguration of Schools Management Committee held in Kano.
I want to be an army officer. I want to become a doctor.
These are future leaders from Rumawa community. The dwindling state of education in Nigeria is alarming, with myriad of problems such as poor funding, thus lack of infrastructure, inadequate classrooms, poor teaching and learning aids, and paucity of teachers. Rumawa community in Kano State has been in existence for the past 500 years, but has no access to basic education, despite its short proximity to the metropolitan. What is amazing is the level of commitment to learn by this community. Despite intervention by both state and federal governments to tackle such problems, communities like Rumawa still need more. It's against this backdrop that the Universal Basic Education Commission is reintroducing School Basic Management Committee, School Improvement Program, as a rejuvenation of the past self-help project.
Solution to problems of education inside, as relevant stakeholders from the 36 states of the Federation assembled in Kano for mutual interaction and cross-fertilization of ideas.
We are not only maintaining what we have done this year, but we are also escalating it from the 2 billion to 4 billion naira next year.
This program is being accepted by many, and we are starting with 3,000 volunteer teachers.
The program, which is to operate under 5 subcomponents, is expected to make education in the country more responsive and in tune with realities on ground. It is hoped that with such programs, communities like Rumawa may benefit from this project, and the dreams of these children will be a reality. In Kano, Fatima Sanusi Karaye, NTA News.
To other matters now, Nigeria's quest to become an industrial giant in Africa can easily be realized if government pays attention to the development of the iron and steel sector. This was the thrust of a lecture at the 37th inaugural lecture of the University of Abuja, which drew experts in the mining and steel industry. Austin Anyebe reports that the completion of the Ajaokuta Steel Company was re-echoed.
According to 2016 report of the World Steel Association, China is the world's largest steel producer, with South Africa ranked 22nd and Egypt 27th in Africa. South Korea, which has no mineral resources for iron and steel, ranks among the top 10 countries in steel production. This is the worry of experts who are of the view that Nigeria, blessed with mineral resources such as iron ore, coal, natural gas and limestones needed for the production of steel, is still lagging.
All the infrastructure that we rely or we use on daily basis are made from steel. Steel are made from iron ore. So except we develop our iron ore, we cannot get to production of steel. If you don't produce steel, we cannot talk of developing any technology in this nation.
This is the focus of the 37th inaugural lecture, where Professor Yihi Boniface Oloche says government should consider the potentials inherent in Itakpe and Agbaja iron ore deposits in Kogi State, as well as speed up the completion of the Ajaokuta Steel Company. Speakers of the view that the Ajaokuta Integrated Steel Plant was envisaged to have a multiplier effect on all sectors of the Nigerian economy, such as agriculture, transport and construction. They wonder why government, having spent more than $20 billion on the steel company, which has achieved more than 90% completion, would hesitate to fast-track its completion. The lecture had as theme iron ore, a potential source of steel and fertilizer for sustainable development. In Abuja, Austin Anyebe, NT News.
Let's shift our attention to health. It has been observed that 1 in every 10 persons suffer from a mental disorder at any point in time. It is against this backdrop that Asido Foundation launched a book titled Optimum Mental Health in Ibadan. Rofia Animasham Badmus reports.
An attempt to contribute towards resolving huge mental health needs of the Nigerian populace and promote mental health advocacy, reducing stigma and discrimination, is the focus of Asido Foundation.
It will be an instrument that will promote better awareness, understanding, as well as reduce the shame and stigma.
What we need is to be able to identify the subtle signs early and take care of them.
The book, Optimal Mental Health, an Everyday Guide, was unveiled by Emeritus Professor Oluwole Akonde. Speakers at the event agreed that this book will be useful to students, healthcare staff, policymakers, people with mental illness and their families.
The Bill Abdulmalik has given every government, business, family, education institution in Nigeria and beyond the next best thing to a resident family and institutional psychiatrist.
Medical experts therefore advise that mental illnesses are disorders of the brain that are treatable just like physical illnesses. In Ibadan, Rofia Animasham Badmus, NTA News.
Anyway, from health, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, says the current administration is unshaken in its resolve to ensure free, fair and credible elections. This was his message to a policy roundtable on elections in Nigeria, chaired by the former INEC chairman, Professor Atairu Jega. Timothy Yusuf reports.
The 2019 general elections have come and gone, but many believe that it is pertinent to discuss and fashion out additional ways towards improving future elections and ultimately the 2023 general elections. The United States Institute of Peace is among the groups clamoring for improved electoral integrity, which it believes is a precursor for a strong democracy. Professor Atairu Jega was at the center of this process as the head umpire. Today, he is a member of USIP's working group, proposing some positive reviews of the election processes.
Since the 2011 general elections, the Independent National Electoral Commission has striven to ensure greater integrity to the preparation and conduct of elections in Nigeria.
With the theme, Post-2019 electoral reform towards improving the integrity of Nigerian elections, 6 thematic areas cutting across electoral legal framework, election finances and technology in elections were deliberated upon.
Our elections must be visibly fair to be credible.
The Electoral Act is the instrument that will be used to conduct, a free, fair and credible election, inshallah 2023.
Permanent Secretary, Cabinet Affairs, representing the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, noted that Nigerians are not oblivious of some of the attendant imperfections witnessed in the 2019 general elections, just like any other election anywhere else in the world.
Notwithstanding any shortcoming associated with the elections, it was adjudged to be largely free, fair, and credible.
INEC, Nigeria's election management body, is expected to work with the recommendations of the Round Table, in addition to its own strategies towards improving future elections. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NT News.
Agro Rangers squad. For details, let's link up with Mina in our Enugu Network Center for details. Hello, Mina.
Hello, Elizabeth. Good afternoon and welcome to Enugu. As part of efforts to ensure efficient service delivery in response to fire disasters in the country, the Controller General Fire Service, Dr. Ibrahim Liman, has embarked on tour of Fire Service headquarters in the country. Chinenwoye reports on the Controller's visit to Enugu.
The two-day walking visit to Enugu by the Controller General of Federal Fire Service, Dr. Ibrahim Lehman, after assumption of office 5 months ago, was to, among other things, inspect various equipment and other facilities. He was received on arrival by the commanding officer, Enugu Karibu Samson, who took him round the firehouse. While inspecting the equipment, the Controller General expressed satisfaction with the firefighting equipment on ground. Dr. Lehman called on the firefighters to ensure swift response to emergencies, either caused by nature or man-made, to minimize disaster. He also assured the staff of training and retraining to enhance productivity. The Controller General thereafter inspected the quarter guard.
When we finish the entire tour, we'll sit down and look at zone by zone. Then where we have deficiency, we correct it. Where we need to strengthen, we strengthen it. You understand? Either in terms of assets or in terms of personnel.
The working visit by the Controller General, slated for the 6th zonal headquarters in the country, is to identify challenges and provide solutions. Enugu, Chinenwoye, NTA News.
The Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps Special Squad, the Agro Rangers, is a response team initiated by the Corps in collaboration with Federal Ministry of Agriculture to curb clashes between farmers and herders across the country. Inaugurating the Agro Rangers Squad in Enugu, the State Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi described the initiative as a welcome complement to efforts of the state government in combating security challenges. Susan Eze has details.
The Agro Ranger Squad is charged with the responsibility of protecting the agro-allied investments, which include farmlands, livestock, silos, ranches, and other related agricultural economy of the nation. Governor Ugwuanyi expressed confidence that the Agro Ranger Squad, working in synergy with the already established forest guards, will further enhance security in the state. He urged the initiators of the project to ensure that members of the squad carry out their duties with professionalism, discipline, and respect to all concerned.
We must commend the federal government through the NSDC, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, for this unprecedented initiative.
The Agro Rangers, according to the Enugu State Commandant of the NSCDC, have been trained to ensure peace between farmers, villagers, and herders, while checkmating excesses of the parties involved for peaceful coexistence. According to him, carrying of guns and dangerous weapons by herders and farmers is prohibited, while offenders will be arrested and prosecuted.
The scheme was designed to secure ranches, animals, and grazing areas so as to encourage investments in agriculture and boost food security and security of livestock property of the people.
Inauguration of the first squad of 34 officers was attended by the NSCDC Zonal Commander, Zone E, and heads of sister agencies. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
And that's a contribution from Enugu. It's back to you, Elizabeth, for a continuation of Nationwide.
Thank you, Mina. Let's now talk flood management. 10 communities in 3 local government areas in Ekiti State have been hit by floods, which have rendered them homeless. Director Research and Rescue of NEMA, Air Commodore Akugbe Inyamo, led NEMA delegation to the affected areas to ascertain the level of devastation for onward provision of succor to the affected victims. Ilyasu Ali Yakubu has details.
These are the roads linking Ikere and Ogbese communities and Adulaku and its neighboring community, now completely cut off as a result of the flood, which has also hampered economic activities in the communities. Although no life was lost, however, the devastation on the residents and their household was harrowing.
We don't even know where that water comes from. All my people have already destabilized now. They didn't have anywhere to stay, no fooding, all their certificates have been already lost.
The federal government should come to our urgent assistance.
The state government said palliatives were immediately provided to cushion the effects.
Well, the directive of the governor is that first of all, we have to stabilize the people that have been traumatized. So this morning, emergency management agency has swung into actions to provide consumables, foods, clothing, and mattresses.
Their means of economy has been taken away from them by the natural disaster. The only thing is for them to be rehabilitated.
Leader of the NEMA delegation, Air Commodore Akugbe Inyamo, expressed shock over the level of devastation and directed the immediate deployment of relief items to alleviate the sufferings of the people.
What you see now is a very terrible situation. When we get to evacuation, we are very grateful to the chief of the air staff who has been available 2 C-130 and helicopters. The Army has made available their specialized equipment, and Navy has made available their boats. So when it gets to the extreme and they need to be evacuated, the DROUs will be activated to evacuate them.
Ekiti State is one of the 30 states predicted that will experience high risks of flooding by the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency. From Ado-Ekiti in Ekiti State, Ilyasu Ali Yakubu, NTA News.
And still on disaster management, more Nigerians are applauding the creation of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. Amongst them, our guest on Good Morning Nigeria, ability to address challenges of victims of man-made or natural disasters. Sarafina Okun reports.
It won't be out of place to say that the upsurge in the cases of disasters, banditry and Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast gave rise to the creation of a new Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development by the Buhari administration. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria say this is aimed at addressing the challenges of millions of people in need of humanitarian assistance across the country and to properly resettle and repatriate victims of various disasters within and outside the country. They urge the federal government to ensure proper funding of the ministry in order to achieve its mandate.
The issue of quick response, you have to consider our situation, our environmental situation.
The logistics have to come in place, and we cannot downsize the reality or overemphasize the fact that when structures that are supposed to facilitate timely response are not in place, you will always have a hitch in delivering.
They insist premium must be placed on value reorientation in order to restore the Nigerian value system.
All the stakeholders within the disaster management environment will see themselves as partners in progress, because really this
very destructive territorial war. It's not necessary.
If you have your priorities mapped out, it is easier for you to achieve whatever you want to achieve. I know what is required for the ministry to really make impact are just three. One is the right leadership. The second thing, again, is the policy trusts that the ministry wants to run with. Then the last one is funding.
The guest also urged the minister to hit the ground running with distinctive and operational styles, as this would help in resolving humanitarian crisis with durable solutions. Serafina Okun, NTA News.
You're still watching Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Let's take another break. The news continues shortly.
The Nigerian national flag is a sacred national symbol. It is a mark of patriotism and a show of love for our nation to fly the national flag correctly, in the right colors, right dimension, and in the right sizes for each occasion. In recent times, it has been noticed that government offices, corporate organizations, banks, embassies, and other notable institutions fly faded, shredded, and haggard-looking versions of the national flag. This is wrong and must stop. It has also been noticed that some citizens prefer to popularize the national flag of other nations. Fellow countrymen and women, let us be patriotic. Come, let us show love for our motherland. Fly the correct versions of our national flag in all relevant places. Be patriotic. Be proud ambassadors of our great country.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous, whether you do it for fun or for political gains. Real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA. Get the latest news and updates from across Nigeria on NTA Nationwide. NTA Nationwide, weekdays by 4 p.m. Get it first, get it fresh.
Glad to know you're still there. Now, Justice Anselm Wigwe has been sworn in as the Chief Judge of Ebonyi State, following his confirmation by the State House of Assembly. Kingsley Okoro reports that the Ebonyi State Governor, David Umahi, led other members of the State Executive to the event.
Judicial arm is a key component of any administration that ensures justice and good governance. Ebonyi State Judiciary, like other state judiciaries, has the mandate to interpret laws, give directions on jurisprudence, customs, conventions, and to protect and preserve rights and privileges of citizens and individuals alike. The swearing in of the Chief Judge of Ebonyi State by the Solicitor General of Ebonyi State, Albert Alo, was another milestone for effective dispensation of justice in the state. Do solemnly swear. Governor David Umahi at the event urged him to work hard for speedy dispensation of justice in the state.
Your duties. Congratulations.
The Chief Judge of the state, Justice Anselm Wigwe, pledged to use the instruments of the law to uphold the bar and the bench.
I promise never to fail. I also promise to use the instrument of the law and constitution to drive our state judiciary to enviable heights.
Justice Mwigwe is the third Chief Judge of Ebonyi State. In Abakaliki, Kingsley Okoro, NTA News.
And the Anambra State government has commenced verification exercise for pensioners in order to commence payment. Idem Kalu reports.
The ongoing verification exercise by the Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate is to ensure that all genuine pensioners are paid what is due them. Pensioners under the defined benefit scheme are to go to the nearest centers close to them to do their verification. Oka, the Anambra State capital, being one of the selected centers in the southeast, retirees under the federal parastatal came out with their documents in compliance with the exercise. Among the retirees is a veteran broadcaster with the Nigerian Television Authority, Nwora Asika, who described the exercise as commendable, though not without challenges.
I would have thought that if they wanted to verify us, they would have asked us to report to the local government of our state. Wherever you come from, whatever your local government is, you go to your local government for this verification exercise.
On Monday, this place has no place to stay. You see, it's going to be better to make it in a departmental level.
It's very nice, unlike the ones we were doing before, but very orderly. At least so far so good. Since I came in here, it's moving smoothly.
The verification exercise, which commenced on the 26th of August, will last till 4th September in the selected centers. In Oka, Ndemkalo, NTA News.
Into other matters of concern, the coalition of civil society organizations protesting the $9.6 billion judgment against Nigeria's threatened to occupy British and Irish embassies if officials fail to respond to their demands. Onenge Fineface has details.
It's the second day running into the protest organized by the Coalition of Civil Society Organizations of Nigeria. They are clamoring for intervention to ensure that the judgment given against Nigeria of $9.6 billion awarded to P&ID is set aside. But 2 days into the protest, they've not received any meaningful commitment from the British High Commission, where they are currently holding their protest.
Today we've not been able to hear any response from them. We are still waiting for them to talk to us. But we've given them 21 days ultimatum to revert that judgment. We've also appealed to Boris Johnson to step into that judgment so that they can reduce the slump, bring it down to the barest minimum.
Yes, after 21 days ultimatum and nothing is done, we'll come back here to occupy British Embassy. This time, no going home. We'll sleep here, we'll wine here, we'll dine here until a drastic action is taken.
Some of the protesters are tired. They've been on the road for hours. Although they are tired, they are still resolved to continue on the protest until they get positive commitment from the Irish Embassy and the British High Commission here in Abuja. Onengie Fineface, NTA News.
Nigeria to play Sudan in CAF Under-23 African qualifier on Thursday. Ayodeji Makinde has details on sports updates.
National men's basketball team